Hey y'all, Jim Pankey here. Today, I've got something different that I want to do. And it's based on a question that I get asked all the time. And one of the questions that comes up for me is, how much should I practice? I mean, what should I be doing? Just how much time do I need to spend to get however good that you want to get? And the answer is, especially the answer, if I give it to you, it's kind of always the same. But I wanted to reach out to some other people. And I could have reached out to some pros, people that are playing and working in the bluegrass world. But I didn't want to do that. I wanted to reach out to just regular folks that are learning to play the banjo and people that I kind of feel like might have the right idea. And so I had a few questions I wanted to ask them, and I'll introduce you to them as we go along. And so I hope you'll stick around and see what these relatively new pickers are doing that's, getting them down the road as far as picking goes. So, hey, if you like this sort of thing, be sure to hit the like button and maybe leave a comment. If you really like to help, hit that subscribe button. That helps me. And if you'd like to get notifications when I post new videos, be sure to ring that bell. So let's get into this. The first person I've got here is Dan, and I'll let him introduce himself and tell you a little about who he is and how long he's been playing and that sort of thing.
Hi, Jim. Yeah, my name is Danny Smith, and I live in Eastern Washington State, and I am 56 years old.
So Dan, how long have you been playing?
I've been playing, as of today, 97 days since I started playing the banjo.
The question that everybody wants to know the answer to, do you practice every day?
I do. I practice every day. I try to practice about an hour and a half to 2 hours every day. I'm retired, so I've got the time.
What are your practice sessions like?
Like I said, I practice about an hour and a half to 2 hours a day, and I try to work on rolls, the basic rolls, to try to get those down and be consistent and be clean. And then I try to work on a song that I've been learning, and I try to learn something new. So, or maybe even just add something to a song that I've already been working on.
Do you play any other musical instruments?
Other instruments, I play mandolin. I'm not very good at mandolin. I started playing mandolin back around 2004, and I like to build mandolins, so I kind of have fun with it, but I never really learned how to play. And since I started playing banjo, I've really committed myself to learning the mandolin too.
Do you have a banjo-related goal coming up?
My next goal for banjo is to get a little faster. I mean, that's the thing that I really want to work on.
Do you have a bit of advice for somebody just starting out with the banjo?
My advice to a beginner banjo student like myself, don't try to go fast too quickly, because it really makes it more difficult to be clean if you try to play fast. So I really try to slow it down and be consistent and clean.
Dan, I really appreciate you being part of this. You got a tune for us?
Yeah, no problem. I will play Bury Me Beneath the Willow, and I learned it from you on your YouTube channel. Let's see if I can do this. Thanks, Jim. I really appreciate all your help.
Next up, we've got Ann. Ann, tell us about yourself.
My name is Ann Jablonski. I live in the Washington, D.C. area, and I'm in my, let's just say I'm in my early 60s.
So Ann, how long have you been playing banjo?
I have been playing the banjo for 2 years and 7 months, starting exactly the weekend of the lockdown in March of 2020.
Do you practice every day?
As for practicing daily, I'd say that practicing every day is much more the rule than the exception. I look forward to it at the end of the day. I tend to practice after the day is over, when everything is finished, and it's pretty much my reward. Sorry about the cat. It's pretty much my reward. It's a chance to just do something purely for the pleasure of it, and practicing this banjo has been, pretty much pure pleasure, except for getting those calluses. That took a while.
So how much do you practice?
In terms of the amount of time, practice time, it varies. I don't set a clock. I don't really watch the clock. I'd say that I probably practice about an average of 45-ish minutes each day when I sit down. It depends on my energy level. It depends on how I'm feeling. And it consists pretty much of playing the songs that I already know. I always start out with that. I use the Strum Machine app because for me that is so much more fun than working with a metronome, which just feels tedious to me. I have my own de facto backup band, and I can speed it up, I can slow it down, I can change the key. It's just absolutely great fun. Like I said, I have so much fun sometimes practicing, it should be illegal.
So what are you working on right now on the banjo?
Right now, I'm trying to learn a little bit more about playing scales. I don't find that fascinating, but I just do a little bit of it every day, and every day gets a little bit better and a little bit better. I'm also working on those chord shapes, the F shape and the impossible D shape. It's getting a little more possible. And I just think that once I learn those, that's going to open up a whole lot more doors for me in terms of my playing. So I try and balance it out with rehearsing or playing over again what I already know, and then spending some time in new territory.
Well, I asked Dan, I'll ask you, do you play any other musical instruments?
No, I do not play any other instruments. Back in grade school, I played a little bit of guitar, and even younger than that, I had some traumatic and failed experiments with piano lessons that left me pretty much feeling humiliated and as though I had absolutely no natural musical talent. So I've set that all aside, and learning to play this thing has been really just a fresh start in the world of music for me.
What's your next banjo-related goal?
My next banjo-related goal is really learning how to play the chords up the neck. I want to learn how to improvise and not just imitate. Imitation has been invaluable, and I know I'm going to have to keep doing that for a long time. But more and more, I want to start to learn to play on my own, to make music on my own, to write songs on my own, and to be able to create my own arrangements for songs. And that's going to require a skill that is still not really in my fingers yet. But my hope is that if I work on it a little bit every day, it will happen.
Ann, what is your advice for beginner players?
When it comes to advice for beginners, at this point, it's ridiculous. I have so much that I could say, so it's a little tricky to just narrow it down to one thing. But I think probably the one that's most important is to not allow yourself to get hijacked by that committee in the back of your head that says that you're no good at this. That committee gets very noisy in those moments when you get very frustrated and you just can't find it in your fingers, or it feels like you're tripping over yourself all the time. And maybe you start to play the old tapes about past days trying to learn an instrument where you quote unquote failed. Walk away or come back later and spend some time with your instrument doing what it is that gives you pleasure. This is supposed to be, at least I think, this is supposed to be about joy. So anything that's trying to rob you of your joy is something that you should RSVP no to. And yeah, don't give up. This is supposed to be fun.
All right, Ann, that's great. Can you play us a song? What have you got for us?
You were a brave person to ask me to play something, so I'm going to pick Old Home Place, which I learned thanks to watching one of your YouTube tutorials, your tune tutorials, more times than I'm going to fess up to. See, I even left the mistakes in to prove authenticity. That was fun. Thank you. I really enjoyed having this exchange with you, Jim, and I want to thank you for being there that scary weekend in March of 2020 when it felt like there was fear and misery and despair all around. I picked up a banjo for the first time ever, Googled beginner banjo lessons, and found you. And you and my friend Isabel here just has made all the difference these past 2 years and 7 months. So thank you.
Next up, we've got Matthew. I found Matthew about a year ago on TikTok, and he was just learning. And I've been impressed at his progress and wanted to include him here. So I'll let him tell you about himself.
Hi, I'm Matthew Milligan. I'm 13 years old and I'm from southeastern Tennessee. It's a really beautiful place here in Tennessee.
Okay, Matthew, how long have you been playing banjo?
I've been playing banjo since Christmas of 2021, so just about 11 months to round it up.
Do you practice every day?
Yes, I do practice daily. I think that's crucial to playing an instrument, help you get better. It's one of the best things you can do while playing an instrument, in my opinion.
Matthew, I know that anybody that's followed you on TikTok has got to wonder, how much are you practicing to have progressed as quickly as it seems that you have?
I'd say I practice around 2 to 6 hours a day.
That's a lot of time picking. What are you doing during your practice sessions?
My practicing consists of slowing songs down on YouTube. It's actually a really great way to learn. And every now and then I'll have a song come up that I listen to and it has a great lick in it, so I slow that lick down and I learn that lick. It's a great way to learn.
So Matthew, do you play any other instruments?
Do I play other instruments? I'll fiddle around with a guitar. I'll fiddle around with a fiddle. I'll fiddle around with a mandolin. Every now and then I'm hoping to play a bass sometime soon, but banjo is definitely my main instrument.
That's a lot of fiddling around, Matthew. What is your next banjo-related goal?
My next banjo-related goal would be single string. I'd love to get that single string down and perfect, kind of like Jason Skinner or Don Reno. Single string is one of my favorite techniques on a banjo. And another one would be getting my banjo to a brighter tone. We're currently working on that, so I think it's going to be done soon.
Okay, Matthew, I've asked everybody this question. What is your advice for a beginner banjo player?
A tip of advice for a beginner. Well, I'm a beginner, and my biggest advice would be to learn from Jim Pankey and go as slow as it takes you to learn something. If it takes you 3 months to get some kind of lick down, that's great. You get that lick down, you get it perfect, and you use it in a song. That's the best thing you can do, is to slow it down.
Okay, Matthew, now we want to hear you pick us a tune, so what have you got for us?
It's a great fall day in Tennessee, and it's also a great time to play a tune called Dixie Breakdown. Swipe me over. Thank you for putting me in your video, Jim. I really do appreciate it. And I enjoyed answering the questions, and maybe I'll get to do it again one day.
Well, I think the common theme we see here is folks that are learning the banjo and having some success with it. Number one is they just really just love it. It's just something that they desire to do, regardless if they're getting good at it or not. And then the other thing that they're doing is they're putting in the practice time. How much? I mean, you could do 45 minutes a day like Ann's doing, or you could put 6 hours a day like Matthew if you've got that kind of time. But whatever practice time you put in, definitely make it count. Work on things that are important to you that's going to help you learn. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this is something that could be helpful for you. It's nice to see what other people are doing and how they're progressing, and you got to hear them pick, and you got to hear their thoughts and their tips for you. So hang in there, folks. Keep practicing, and we'll see you real soon.